Hello, Lorcana Goons. We're back at it again with another top 16 for you this time instead of the usual top 8, right, Kevin?
Yep. Good to be here, Lorcana Goons. We have 16 decks from the PPG Miami TCG Contour. This was an event that was heavily anticipated. A lot of people have been planning to go to this event. People traveled from all around the state, maybe even from around the world to go to this event because the pricing was crazy. It was 256 players total that signed up. And look at this prize. We have two cases for first place, one case for second place. Fourth place got two boxes. Fifth through eighth got a trove. Ninth through 16th got a gift set. And then if you got top 32, you got three booster packs at least. Entry fee, I don't know how much it was, but that's a pretty stacked tournament with a pretty stacked prize pool, right?
Yeah, honestly, like even at the end of the day, let's say what can an event like this cost at the maximum? 20 bucks, let's say. And with the amount of money you have to spend on a pack at this point, you're kind of just paying for the packs if you're getting to top 32 at that point. So I think it's a good pricing, and then if you get anything better than 17th place, you're for sure getting your money's worth. You got to play Lorcana at a big event at a high level. You get at least a gift set, and then if you're winning the whole event, two cases, like that is insane. Two cases. Imagine leaving the Miami with two cases of
Yep.
Lorcana first
And
chapter.
we do have a winner. We have a first and second place, so let's get on into this.
All right, let's get right on into it. So we got our first place winner. We're starting off with the winner here. We got the Amber Steel by Jose Feliciano. Congratulations to you, Jose. Me and Kevin has been telling me that he thinks this is the best deck, and as you'll see from the chart that we made, and you'll see these decks, that this might be the best deck that we have right now.
I definitely think that Amber Steel is officially the best deck. I'm sorry to say it. Ruby Amethyst is up there, but Amber Steel is just a little too hard to play against current meta. Overall, like you can't prepare for it. You have to literally just accept that everything's gonna go down. Rapunzel, grab your swords, Tinkerbell. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I agree. And then like you have the cards like Whole New World, which they're just really good cards, and to be able to play it in a deck like this, me personally, what I love about this deck is that even though they're only playing one, they are playing the shift hook, which comes more often than you would think, especially if that hook stays alive, which it most likely does, and you shift it and get a Whole New World early on. Like it's just too strong. And I do like the it at one because you either get it or you don't in this type of deck. Me and Kevin have been testing it, and I have it in my deck right now at two, and it's just not very good drawing it later.
Yeah, and then you have four Lantern to combo it off and make sure
Mm-hmm.
that you're always doing something with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then on top of that, three Hades is very interesting. It keeps you going in the grind game. Hades very important.
Mm-hmm.
And then whole new world, man. The card lets you draw seven cards. It's kind of it's one of those cards where you go unpunished because you can play that card. But first place has Jose Feliciano. I heard he's from Puerto Rico, so congrats to you. Traveled all the way to Miami and won first place.
Two cases. I think it was a nice trip. You got a little vacation. You got some more con. You got to play. Anyways, shout out to you. Congratulations. I hope you see this video and tell us what your tournament experience was like. But with that being said, let's go on to our second place, which looks like it is Gabriel Torres, Amber Steel. Of course, looks very similar to the other deck. I see that we've put the hook back up to one. What do you think about this one, Kevin?
Yeah, this one's playing two hook and the other one's playing one. But this list has Fire the Cannons. I like Fire the Cannons a lot in this deck. Fire the Cannons is very powerful to eliminate the Stitch threat before a Rockstar comes down, or
Mm-hmm.
to finish off certain cards so that Rapunzel doesn't heal it. A lot of times you're left in an awkward situation where you grab your swords and one of their characters still has willpower left, and Rapunzel can heal it and they'll draw. So sometimes Fire the Cannons just finishes off the job, And as you can see, another pattern, another
Yeah.
four Lantern. So Gabriel Torres, second place. Well, let's go to this third place list, shall we? Third place. Oh, look. No, not third
Another.
place. Sorry. This is top four now because first and second place and then top four breakdown. So they didn't play it out for third place, but this is now top four. Michael State. Heal. And then another
Mm-hmm.
four Lantern. Four Lantern, two Big Hook. These lists are looking very similar.
Very
Similar.
similar.
This one looks very standard.
That
I want to give a shout out to Michael State because seeing his name in the top of Lorcana is pretty cool because he's done a lot in the Yu-Gi-Oh community and done a lot in other card games, I believe, for how good he is at playing. So gotta put some respect on his name.
I do want to say though that I noticed there's no smash in these decks, huh? It's just kind of the grab your sword as your only damage output aside from that one list that was playing
First place, the
fire the cannon.
first place list played Smash.
Oh yeah, they
The
play
first place
smash.
list played Smash. The second place list played
Fire the
Fire Cannons.
cannons.
Third place list didn't play either of them. So Michael State didn't play either Fire the Cannons. But let's check out the other top four. We have the first Ruby Amethyst,
Mm-hmm.
the only Ruby Amethyst in top four. The Broom Goon deck. He has 4 brooms in here. Ooh, and then we've seen this deck a million times. This is probably the other best deck, right? So it's either Ruby Amethyst or Amber Steel that you're going to see at locals 100% of the time. So just want to point
Depending
that
on
out
how
there.
competitive your
But this
locals
deck looks pretty
is,
good.
I think there's a lot of people like in they're still playing the lemon lime deck and then the turquoise deck that you'll still see a lot of in locals, but it looks
First.
like now we're gonna
Oh, of course, but
see in the top cut, like higher end tournaments, we're gonna be seeing just Amber Steel, Ruby Amethyst.
yeah, and then there's nothing too crazy about this list. There is the Jets and the Goofies for the evasives, but it seems like it's missing some stuff like Ursulas, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Mickeys, and then we know that we know the Ruby Amethyst, but
Yeah,
man,
so
it's crazy to see that there's only one Ruby Amethyst, and
let's go to the next list. Interesting, Ruby Amethyst in there in the top 4. So we got the top 8, another Amber Steel. It looks like the similar to the other one. Looks like we're playing more songs though. We have the one of right there, the Uninkable, in addition to Smash that wasn't playing, that Michael State wasn't playing, and then the little Aladdin with 2
part
lores.
of your world.
Interesting.
Yeah, so the main differences here are part of your world, Aladdin with 2 lore. What's his name again? Lilo. We haven't seen a lot of Lilo action lately. It seems like Lilo kind of fell off, and as you can see in the market watch prices too,
Yeah.
Lilo is now like a $10 rare. It used to be $20, and it just kind of seems like Lilo loses out to a lot of cards. Like Tinkerbell, Grab Your Swords, fairly easily. So I can see why people kind of dropped the Lilo package, but Alexander Gonzalez, congrats to you,
Yep.
taking Lilo all the way to the top 8 with the part of your world. And then look, another version with Big Hook. That Big
Yeah,
Hook's
Big Hook is
gonna
doing
be in a lot of these lists, huh?
the Big Hook. It just
Thinking a
combos
happy
well.
thought.
Combos well with the whole new world, especially
Mhm.
if you shift it. It just lets you get that early on and disrupt the opponent. And with a deck like this, we've noticed that you just really want to get that off early. But with that being said, let's go on to the
Also notice
next
there's
list.
no Carefree Surfer Stitch in that list, by the way. Just want to point that out.
Oh yeah, no Surfer Stitch, just the
So
Rockstar.
Carefree Surfer Stitch being an expensive legendary you might not need in that list other than Rapunzel, right? So we have Jerry Bishop, top 8 Ruby Amethyst. You got some evasive action in this Ruby Amethyst
I
deck.
like
We
it.
got double Mickey BLT, triple Goofy, triple Pongo. Seems kind of nice. I like the triple Jafar as well.
Jafar's a good
Evasives are
addition.
underrated. Evasives are very strong.
I've said it.
Yeah,
I've said
I
it in the
like the
past.
Mickey.
This type of deck, if I'm playing Ruby Amethyst, in my opinion, I want to play. I just want to max out on those evasiveness because they're so strong, and if they don't have a way to deal with them, like it's just gonna take you very far in a deck like this. But it's
Yeah, I also want to point out that a lot of the Ruby Amethyst decks, they've kind of transitioned into playing like Archimedes and Gaston, usually at least 4 or like really high counts of each, because you really have to make sure you curve well nowadays into your like early game because you have to be able to contest the Amber Steel deck.
yeah,
So
you
that's
do.
why you see stuff like Jafar at 3 and Pongo at 3 because those are good 4 drops that you can play to contest like aggro boards.
Yeah, the early game is super like iffy with against this deck because like if you don't have anything, you're gonna be wasting a lot of time doing like just inking, getting like a card here and there. But I feel like the Gaston added on here does put a lot of pressure, and it does prevent the Amber Steel deck from doing those early lures because like you don't want to just get destroyed by this 2-drop.
Yeah, it used to be that you just waited until be prepared, right? But
Yeah,
now you have to pay attention and really make good trades, focus on like on what's going on with the field because they're playing cards from 1 all the way to 7 now. So
yeah. You
gotta
gotta
pay
worry about it
attention.
every turn now, and as opposed to before, the way I was feeling against a deck like this, like I don't gotta worry till like turn 5, turn 7. But now it's like more of like, all right, now we're gonna be keeping the pace and playing the game. But Ruby Amethyst there again, we've seen it many times in these type of videos. So let's go on to the next list right here. We got another Amber Steel. Looks like we do have the Lilo in there again. People do want to be aggressive still with this type of deck. Like, it's not little guys per se anymore, but like they still add the Lilo in there here and there just for that. That lore's really strong, and it could win you the game. Sometimes you just need to draw that two lore off the top, and then boom, win the game. I love that we're still seeing the shift hook in here, because that is my favorite card right now, honestly. Like, that's one of my favorite cards. Just the fact that it gives you the option to sing so early on, like, and it just can't be contested by 3-drop or lower. It's so much value to me.
Yeah, I think Hook, Thinking a Happy Thought, and Fire the Cannons were low-key the goo for this weekend. You know what I mean? Like, I think that was like the spice that people were playing that really got them there. Maybe the one might not have been super impactful, but we've seen it like consistently in every deck list that I have to imagine that it's relevant. You know what I mean? Because I've used it on ladder, and I've seen a huge difference on being able to use a whole new world on turn 3 sometimes, as opposed to not being able to do that. So it's kind of crazy. I totally understand why it's in the decks now.
I was gonna say, yeah, because the earliest before I believe you can do that, obviously, is with the aerial, or worst case scenario would be with shifting a Tink, right? So it does give you another option to get that whole new world out earlier too, because you do have a couple options right now.
Yeah. My only issue with playing Lilos is you play on Inkables, but this version is not playing any Lantern. So there you go. No Lantern there. Milton J. Figueroa, congrats to you. But we will go on to the next one. Ooh, finally, something new. Some spice bag. Look what we got. We have Emerald Steel list. Roger Para. Awesome. I like to see it. We have some very interesting stuff. I don't really see a lot of Emerald Steeled. You know, we don't really see it a lot in these videos that we've been doing. We've seen like one, maybe. So this one's cool. It is playing the Mickey Mouse Musketeer, the 6-drop, and some cool stuff like Aladdin.
Playing some bodyguards.
The 2-drop Aladdin for 2 lore. And then we have even Hercules too as a bodyguard. That's kind of nice. And then there's only 3 Grab Your Swords and 3 Whole New World. What do you think of those ratios?
The ratios I think are fine in a deck like this, because it's like Emerald, right? We know Emerald. We're gonna drop the 2 lore characters early on, but with these bodyguards, we're actually able to protect them and lore longer than last time, which is interesting, because you drop a Flynn, like it's only two health, so it's very easy to get rid of it. I'm sure they're okay with losing 1 card here and there, as opposed to you gaining 2 lore more than once. So with that bodyguard, it just puts that pressure on. It makes it a little bit more aggressive, and it lets you lore longer.
Another thing I want to know is when you play Tinkerbell, most helpful on turn 4, a lot of players don't realize that you can shift Tinkerbell Giant Fairy on turn 5 using your most helpful. And that Tinkerbell has evasive, so a lot of times it's just going to survive. So that's a pretty cool interaction that people forget, is that you can shift into that. You have multiple Tinkerbells to shift into.
Yeah, I was going to say that right now, because
then you have Genie and Mother Knows Best.
How do you feel about that? The different Tinkerbells, like maxing out on the silver and then putting 3 of the emerald in there. I think that's interesting choice that
I think it's perfect.
Roger made there.
I think it's perfect. I think it's perfect because you need the tiny tactician to curve in against Amber Steel. Honestly, like when you curve in that giant Tinkerbell, being able to shift on like, or even with the Grab Your Swords, or even just being able to challenge a character to get the extra ability of Tinkerbell, it's so impactful. A lot of times, even playing Tiny Tactician Tink, your opponent is scared to play into the Giant Fairy, so even that, you can bluff it pretty hard. So I think it's more important to play 4 of those and then 3 of the other one in a deck like this, because that's like the best play to do. And then turn 4, you're either going to summon another one, you know, if you then you get to decide which one you want to shift. It probably goes based off of like the gameplay or like the game itself. Like maybe you need Tactician to get rid of a whole new world that's extra in your hand, or maybe you want to get rid of the Tinkerbell evasive one because you're facing down like an evasive Goofy or something.
Yeah,
that's an issue I've had. Sometimes they have a Goofy evasive and it clears your Tinkerbell most helpful. So instead, you have Tiny Tactician. I mean, you have Giant Fairy, which can like out better stuff better.
And like you said, people forget to shift. You can shift on the green Tink, and like me included, if I'm playing against this, I'll even forget they can do the Giant Fairy on top of that green one, and I'll be like, whoa! I'll be like, that is definitely a Tinkerbell, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, nice deck.
Yeah,
Shout out to you, Roger Para. I love the deck. I'm glad you made an appearance with this Emerald Steel in the top 8. But with that being said, let's go on to the next one right here. We got our Ruby Amethyst to start off the top 16 right here. So a very interesting
Colby
deck.
Jerish.
So we see that he has the
Yeah,
4-drop
check out
Elsa.
this list by Colby Jerish.
We were just talking about this on Discord
We
earlier.
were just
And just so you guys know, we do have
We were
a
picking
Lorcana
on-
Goons Discord. You guys can go in there and chat with us whenever you want. We're in there talking about the decks, talking about events, so it's a good place to be. And we were just talking about that 4-drop because one of our goons was putting it in the deck, and we're like, what are you doing? But Colby over here is like proving us wrong with the top 16 in PPG. He has it right there.
Yeah. Well, I'm over here thinking that card is Boo Boo, but apparently it's not Boo Boo if it's is doing something. That's pretty interesting. The 4-drop Elsa, and then he even has the wardrobe too, 3-drop wardrobe. We were talking about how you want to curve nice into like 3 and 4 drops right now because it's really good against like Amber Steel. So maybe this is really good of drop, you know, and you can shift Elsa, I guess, into it on turn 6, right? Really high chance of surviving as opposed to the 3-drop Elsa. So that's always kind of nice. It's just kind of funny though that I did not expect to see this in a top 16 video. You know, let alone the PPG. So that's pretty cool. Maybe this is the spice.
Because we were just talking about it. That's what
We
throws
were
me
literally
off
just
even
talking
more.
about it.
But shout out to you, Colby Jerish, for proving us wrong. I like the deck because of the Elsa and the wardrobe. It's very, very different. I do like the maxed out Ursulas. But
yeah,
with that being said, let's go on to the next list right here because we have another Ruby Amethyst going on, and it's very spicy now. We're getting spicier now that we're going into this top 16.
There's a lot.
What do you think about this one?
So we have a little bit of there's a little bit of everything in this one. There's 2 Zeus, no Rafiki. There's 1 Befuddle. There's no Cauldron. Any of these Ruby Amethyst decks, and I'm very disappointed. Cauldron is amazing. But I do like seeing BLT Mickey being slept on, but that's the only evasive they have here. And 1 Ursula. I've seen Ursula being played a lot more Ruby Amethyst deck, so I'm surprised there's only 1 here. But you know, you gotta have that 1 Ursula, I think.
I like the addition of the double Zeus.
Seems like as opposed to Rafiki.
As opposed to the Elsa. Remember we were also talking about this as well, like replacing the Zeus with the Elsa. This is exactly like the scenario entirely what we were discussing on Discord, which I think I like the Zeus over the Elsa personally, but I mean I haven't tried the Elsa, so who knows, I'm probably missing out, you know?
Yeah, I'm just comparing it to Rafiki because that's like your damage removal, right? Like being able to hit on with rush or something.
Yeah.
So like,
especially since there's no Rafiki in this list.
Okay, but we'll go on to the next one because we have another Steel list. Can you believe it? There's been so many Amber Steels. This is like
it's
insane.
crazy.
So this one is playing LeFou. It has Lilos. It has You Have Forgotten Me's. That's Cerberus. This is a little bit more like we were seeing like 2 weeks ago, kind of like aiming for the mid range, but really taking advantage of the Rockstar Stitch combos. What do you think?
We're really taking advantage of the card that we all know and love. You Have Forgotten Me. Do not ever be in the situation where you have the 2 cards that you want the most in your deck, in your hand, and you're just like, next turn I'm gonna do both these cards and I'm just gonna win the game, because nope, we got Jonathan Valley over here gonna You Have Forgotten Me those cards out of your hand, and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's a card. Shout out to this man for making it to top 16 with this deck, because I play this deck on ladder and I want to cry every time I get You Have Forgotten Me. I might have played against Jonathan Val in ladder and he's just You Have Forgotten Me to the graveyard.
Yeah. No, I get it, man. I have qualms with that card. That card gets me so tilted, like I just want to scream when you have forgotten me for the last 2 cards in your hand. It's so unfair. It's so unfair, but maybe I'm just bad. Maybe I'm a bad player. Maybe I'm getting into it, you know?
Yeah. Good deck, though.
They just have everything.
Good deck, mid-range. I like
the next one. We'll go on to the next one. The next one is also playing You Have Forgotten Me. Check that out.
I like the 1 Maui in there.
This one's playing 4. 4 You Have Forgotten Me. 1 Maui. Very interesting. This is definitely mid-range. No Rockstar Stitch. Only 3 hooks, 4 Erics, and then after that you don't play any more 1 or 2 ink characters. Everything else, every other character is higher than 2 ink. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
I like decks that play the Hades.
We've seen lists like this before. I'm surprised. Yeah, I think you can play Hades in both versions, but I think that the whole new world Rockstar Stitch version is so much better than this version. This version's good, but version is just so unfair. That version just wins you games for free. Version is fair. This version you have to try to win. I feel like the Rockstar Whole New World version, sometimes the game just plays itself out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean, and
But
I do like that. Of course, we're seeing another Amber Steel in here because when I was making this chart, it was very interesting to see Amber Steel taking up a majority of the top 16 as opposed to the Ruby Amethyst that I'm used to taking up the whole chart.
yeah, no, it even took up most of the top 32 because they broke down the top 32 and Amber Steel was 14 decks out of top 32
Oh
was
yeah.
Amber Steel, and then 12 were Ruby Amethyst.
Shoutout
Yeah,
PPG, by
man,
the way.
so
They have the top
Amber
32
Steel
coverage
taking
as
up.
well.
Yeah, PPG is awesome, man. I've like loved them since Yu-Gi-Oh, and I'm glad they're still doing stuff for Lorcana. But let's go on to this next list. Patrick Kowal. We have the only Amber Sapphire in all of top 16. This is a cool list, a value deck. Seeing this list, a similar list actually won Apex Gaming event, got first place. It's very similar to this. But as you can see, another deck that's abusing and using You Have Forgotten Me, one of the best cards in the game. And then you're capitalizing off that with Hades, Rapunzel, Maximus, and Hades.
I like this deck. I like it. I like the combination of cards. I like the color. It's just very appealing. I'm glad that obviously more color combinations are still making it into the top 8 because like we said, Ruby Amethyst Amber still kind of dominating, but to see these type of like different color combinations still on here, it gives me hope still to not have like just such a stale meta, especially since we have
Yeah.
the second chapter coming out, Rise of the Floodborn. Sorry, I'm always gonna call it second chapter just because it's like first chapter, second chapter. Next thing I'm gonna call it third chapter.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to you, Patrick.
This event was really competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Event was extremely competitive. A lot of people traveled to this event. A lot of people who were grinding Pixelborn since Lorcana, before Lorcana even came out, went to this event. So people who topped was very well deserved, you know. So like I understand why there's so many like Amber Steel and all that stuff in the top 16 because it was a cutthroat event. But we go into this next one. We have Matthew Eligio playing You Have Forgotten Me at 4. He's playing 2 Fire the Cannons, 4 Smash, Maui. What's with the one Maui tech over the weekend,
I
guys?
know they
Like
got
the Crunk.
together and talked
Crunk
about
is
the
nice.
Maui.
Yeah, right. And somebody missed the memo.
Mm-hmm.
Put Maui in the deck.
I love
So
the
no.
one Maui, and they put the double Kronk in there too. They
So
put
there
some
is no
big characters in here.
Rockstar Stitch in this deck, but he's still playing LeFou, which is very interesting. I wonder why. Just
Good,
more mid-range after
good two
that
drop
with the
maybe. I
4 Surfer
guess
Stitches.
it's like good two
Not a fan
drop.
of Kuna Matata, but I understand why it's in there.
I mean, yeah, he's like Rapunzel must be good for a reason, but it needs the draw too.
But we have another Amber Steel
Of
coming up
course,
next.
we got.
Right after these messages. Just kidding. Here we go. Yep, this one has 4 Lilo. It has 3 Moana. Moana though,
I
and
like
then
Moana.
your favorite got Captain Hook thinking a happy thought. All this brought to you by Jarrell Simmons, top 16 Steel. Yeah, man. This deck is broken. Best deck.
I like it. I like the Moana in here.
Yep.
Good deck. Shout out to you. And let's
No
go to
world.
our final list of the PPG event. We got the Sapphire Emerald, piloted by Nick Ochukunis. Sorry, I don't know. I apologize if I butchered your last name.
Out Tunis.
But shout out to you.
Shout out Nick.
Another color combination in the top 16 that wasn't a majority. I'm a big Sapphire fan. I play Sapphire Steel. I just like the Sapphire. I like blue, so I'm glad to see blue in here still making an appearance. The blue green is strong. I believe I played this on ladder on one of our gameplays, if I'm not mistaken. But it's a very fun deck. Pretty aggressive as well. I'm surprised there's a Flounder in there actually. But yeah, this is
I love this deck.
this is a fun deck to play.
This is slowly becoming my new favorite deck to play. I've been playing it on Pixelborn a lot. I've been having like some ups and downs with it, not gonna lie. This exact list actually, because I wanted to try it out as soon as I saw it. And it's probably my fault. I think I'm just playing it wrong. But this deck is really strong. You said earlier that you kind of throw up your hand when you're playing this deck. You can't just spam it onto the field, which is true. It's very true, but like it takes advantage of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes when you just drop a Hans and a Cusco and a Genie back to back to back, it's too
scary.
much. It doesn't
Yeah, it's
matter
scary.
what deck you're playing against. Not out that, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
man. Like some
strong
of these
cards.
three lore characters are really powerful.
Yeah,
Super
because like
powerful three
if
lore
these come
character.
down back to back, like if they go Hans, like you said, Hans Cusco, then it's just like, oh my gosh, like I'm dealing with this three lore, I got it out the way, but now I have to deal with the Cusco that's has ward. Like, what am I gonna do? You know, like there's very little I can do, and against a deck like that, depending on what I'm playing, and you just have to rely on AOE for the Cusco or really get a good trade. So it's a good deck still. I think it's still very strong, and I believe on some of the builds that we looked over were pretty budget if I'm not mistaken. So you can build your way up to a better Sapphire Emerald deck if you are limited on cards and resources, which I do like. And especially you're seeing it here, an upgraded version of that budget list will make you top 16.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely, most definitely. This person did lose in the top 16 bracket. That's why that's uh, listed in this way. But definitely a contender in the metagame. So you got to look out for these types of decks too. 100%, 100%. But yeah, that was the top 16 lists from the PPG Miami. That was the biggest event that we've had so far for Lorcana. There was 256 players. People have been planning to go to this for over a month. And I can probably say it was probably the most competitive event. The pricing was insane, and congrats to everybody who topped. And there was a bunch of side events too. There's 3v3s. PG really went out of the way to do so much. The stream was awesome. You guys should go check out some of the matches from the stream. We'll put the link in the description below. But yeah, anything you want to say, Bag?
Yeah, I just want to shout out PPG. I appreciate you guys throwing tournaments like this and keeping TCGs alive in general, because I know you guys do multiple card games, not just Lorcana, and this pricing support is phenomenal, and it's just amazing. And I hope to see more tournaments like this, and I hope to cover more tournaments like this with all you goons. But if you guys want to follow us, be sure to follow us on Facebook, x.com now, not Twitter, I keep forgetting, Instagram, and subscribe to us on YouTube. And then, like I said before, join our Discord. We're always gooning around in there with all the fellow Lorcana goons.
Let us know if you guys think Amber Steel is the new best deck.
Later, goons.